Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. I apologize in advance if my reviews for this video seem a bit quick. I have to be at the airport in 4 hours for a trip that I'm not sure that I'm going to document while I'm there, just because I'm traveling with more people than usual, and it's kind of hard sometimes to film around them. But anyway, so March has started off to be a very strong reading month in terms of quantity, but not so much in terms of quality, just because some of my most anticipated reads of the entire year have been disappointing me lately. But anyway, with that said, the first book on this list is called Fable for the End of the World. This story, if you didn't know, is a YA dystopia, and it follows two queer main characters who are entering in this live-streamed deadly game where usually it ends with one of them dead, but instead this one ends with the two of them falling in love with each other. Does that make sense? This book is comped as like The Last of Us meets The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is really interesting because honestly, if you have The Hunger Games or anything within that universe as your comp title, which by the way is a competition title if you didn't know, I have very high expectations because I love The Hunger Games. The new book comes out in 10 days and I'm so excited. But like, The Hunger Games is a masterpiece. If you think for 1 second that you're comparing your book to anything in that universe, you have got to be kidding me. I think honestly, if you're looking at this book as a lesbian Hunger Games, the most that you're going to get is a gay Divergent. You know what I mean? I think the dystopia elements, as well as the entire direction of the story, were completely lacking. The end of the story is so weird because it ends as if there's a sequel, but this book is a standalone, so that was odd. Anyway, the romance itself, I think, is kind of cute, kind of well-paced, but again, I hate the ending, and everything about the world building and the characters had potential, but they just didn't live up to that potential, if that made any sense. So anyway, overall, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The next book on this list is called Kirby's Lessons for Falling in Love. This story is a YA contemporary graphic novel following a young queer main character who is falling in love despite messy relationships with her church and her family. This story is absolutely so excellent and it's so well done. First of all, I love the illustrations so much. The art is absolutely so pretty and so vivid. The characters are brought to life so well. I love the romance. It's so well paced and it's so adorable. The plot is excellent. I loved the family dynamics and like everything about the story is so good and it's so well done. Like I truly felt for everything that was happening from the beginning to the end. I've never read anything before by this author. I think they have like a graphic memoir that they wrote before this that maybe I'll give a second chance. I don't know actually if I've DNF'd it or if I've just heard of it and I've just never opened it myself. Anyway, I digress. This book is absolutely so excellent. The writing is so good and so awesome and I truly loved it. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Right Back at You. This story is a middle-aged contemporary following two pen pals, and one is from 1987 and the other one is from 2023. And if you're curious about like the minutia of how that works, this book is not for you. This book is absolutely so good and it's so awesome. First of all, I love epistolary stories. I love them so much. They make the plot so fast-paced and so interesting. The characters really come to life so much. I love the Jewish representation. I love their friendship. I love it so much. It's so good. The writing is excellent. Again, I don't really remember if I've read a book by this author before or not, so I'm treating this book as if it's the first one that I've ever read by them, and I think the writing is so good and it's so awesome. The way that they've penned, no pun intended, these characters and the friendship and the time period and everything was so good and so well done. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Love Points to You. This story is a YA contemporary following a bi-romantic asexual main character who's pursuing her art dreams, only to also fall in love elsewhere. Does that make any sense? Anyway, this book was so good. First of all, the sapphic romance was so cute, so adorable, so well-paced. I really appreciated that, first of all, both the main character and her love interest are bi-romantic and also both on the asexual spectrum. We love that representation. Second of all, the characters themselves are so well developed and so distinct. I loved all of them, from the main character to her love interest to her stepsister to her best friend. Everything about them was so well developed, and they felt like real people. This book is excellent. I love the art elements. The plot is so engaging and so well done. All of the family dynamics made sense to me. Everything was so good. This book is so underrated, and it's so good, so wholesome, so adorable, so lovely. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Say a Little Player. This story is a YA contemporary following a bisexual main character who's spending a week at church camp as a punishment, and she's also falling for her best friend, who is also the pastor's daughter. I had really high expectations for this book, but I realized after finishing it that my expectations for this book were based on my experiences with the church, and I expected those experiences to be reflected in this book, which is completely unfair because the main character's experiences with Christianity and a whole perspective and everything is way more cynical than mine. You know what I mean? And I felt like some of the side characters in this book were rather underdeveloped, but maybe that's the point because the main character is so wrapped up in her own conviction, no pun intended. The sapphic romance also, separating myself from it, it was very well paced and it was super cute. I just was expecting more from the criticisms of Christianity. What happened to her essay? What did she end up writing in it? You know what I mean? But anyway, I also really enjoyed her relationship with her sister. That was really well done. And I liked the church scene at the end. If you know, you know. It's just that overall, I think that my expectations were just a little bit different. And like I said, my expectations for this book were based on my own experiences within the church and everything. So obviously, me and Riley are completely different people, and her experience is completely valid and honestly completely understandable. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, and I was disappointed, but that's completely on me. So take that as you will. So in conclusion, what did we learn today? I learned today, well not today, but basically, if I project my expectations onto books, sometimes I end up being disappointed by the book more than enjoying it. You know what I mean? Although sometimes my high expectations for books are absolutely met and exceeded. So the lesson here is not that I shouldn't have high expectations for books. It's just that sometimes I am projecting like I am with Say a Little Player, but with that book specifically, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, the point is, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the total emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!